All right, so welcome back. It's been a while since I made a video like this, but the tech has decided that the app that I use to record my whiteboard version of these is now going to be smooth-walled. So right now I can't access it, so I'm going to do it this way instead. All right, I got a whiteboard behind me, might as well use it, right? So today I'm going to talk about the nervous system. And the nervous system is my most favorite of all the body systems because it's the coolest. It's definitely the coolest. Right? And so the nervous system is what allows us to process environmental stimuli and react accordingly. Right? And now not every organism that has a nervous system has a brain. But for us higher organisms like animals, well, not all animals, because sponges don't have a brain. They don't even have a nervous system, right? So nervous systems are unique to animals, right? And brains are unique to higher levels of the nervous system. But for our nervous system, right, we can think of it as being the nervous system is what allows our body to communicate messages between it and our brain, and then our brain to communicate with our body. And so our nervous system has two divisions, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Central, peripheral. Okay. So our central nervous system is our brain stem, and our spinal cord, right? The thing that goes down the middle of our existence. Okay. Central nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is every other nerve thingy in our body. Right? And so the nerves in our hands, the nerves in our toesies, the nerves in our stomach, the nerves in our intestines, the nerves that control my eyeballs, right? Those are all peripheral nervous system. Okay? Now the nervous system is made up of a specific type of cell called a neuron. Okay? I didn't spell out neuron. I'm going to now though. N-E-U-R-O-N, neuron. That's the cell that makes up the nervous system. Okay? And so our nervous system is composed of millions of these neurons. Right? And the neuron has a few parts. Okay? The cell body, or the soma, right? Alternative names, is basically structured like any other cell. Okay? It has a nucleus, it has mitochondria, it has endoplasmic reticulum, it has a membrane. Right? And so this part is basically a typical cell. Attached to the front of the cell body are the dendrites. And they're these little branchy structures with receptors on the ends. Okay? And these receptors are shaped in a way that allows them to receive a chemical signal called neurotransmitters from other neurons. On the butt end of the cell body is this long tail called an axon. Okay? And the axon ends in more things like dendrites. Okay? And so the axon is what passes the signal on. So this cell body receives a signal either from a neuron in front of it in the communication chain or from the outside world. It is stimulated and it passes a signal down the axon. Okay? When it gets to the end of the axon, a neurotransmitter is released and that moves to the next neuron and just passes that message along the way. Okay? So the parts of the neuron are the dendrites, the cell body, and the axon. The space between neurons, that gap where the neurotransmitter is moving, is called a synapse. S-Y-N-A-P-S-E. Synapse. Okay. Now there are three types of neurons. There are sensory neurons, there are interneurons, and there are motor neurons. The sensory neurons, as they are named, are the neurons that accept the stimulus, right? And so the sensory neurons in your eyes are sensitive to light, right? If light hits that neuron, It excites the cell body of that neuron, and the message gets passed. Goes from your eyeballs into your brain, and then your brain processes the signal as being, oh, I can see that thing now, right? I see blue, I see pink. Okay. In our flesh, we have what are called nociceptors, right? And they process pain, so painful things, right? So if I stab myself, ow, right? Nociceptors get that, right? So pushing down on it in a painful way excites the nociceptor, and that signal is passed along. Okay? The feelings, right? The smells of the world, right? So we have sensory neurons in our nose called olfactory glands. And those olfactory neurons. And those olfactory neurons are stimulated by the chemicals in the air, and they process them as scents. Okay? So our sensory neurons are receiving the stimuli from the environment around us. The message is then passed from the sensory neuron along interneurons. So the interneurons just connect all the neurons together. Okay? They're just messenger neurons. Okay. And then the motor neurons are what tell our body to react, right? So the message, owie, gets from my finger up through the interneurons, right, into my spinal cord, up into my brain, and my brain processes that excitement as, oh, that hurts, right? My nociceptor got excited. I know that means it hurts. It sends a signal back down, out through the spine, back down here to a motor neuron, and I go, owie, and I pull it away. Right? The motor neuron, it's telling me to move. Okay? Motor neurons are controlling movement. Okay? Now, there's a lot of responses that are not voluntary, right? They just happen, right? And so like my heart rate right now, I'm not really thinking about how fast I want my heart to be beating. You know? I'm not thinking about breathing right now. Well, now I am because I said it, right? But before that I was breathing, I wasn't thinking about it, right? All of these automatic responses that our nervous system is regulating are called autonomic responses, autonomic. And we have two divisions of our autonomic nervous system. We have the sympathetic division, okay, also known as the fight or flight division, okay, and we have the parasympathetic division, known as the rest and digest division. Okay. And so the sympathetic division is what gets us excited about stuff. Right? If I see a tiger burst in the room right now, right, all my responses, my adrenaline dump, my heart rate up, all that stuff, all my blood flowing to my muscles getting ready to fight this tiger, right? Because I'm not running from the tiger. I'm going to punch that tiger right in its soul with kind words. I'm going to say, you are such a good kitty. I love you. And the tiger's going to be like, I love you too, Mr. Lavadier. And then we're going to be friends. It's going to be great. Okay? That's sympathetic, excitement stuff. Okay? The parasympathetic is the rest and digest. Okay? It's the opposite. It's the things that get us mellow, right? So maybe I just had a nice big meal and I'm just feeling relaxed. When I sit on the sofa, I'm just going to chill out, okay? My blood's going to divert down to my digestive system, right? My muscles don't need to be excited anymore, so the blood can leave there, right? I'll just chill. That's my parasympathetic autonomic nervous system. Okay? So yeah. That's it. That's our introduction to the nervous system. It allows us to sense the world around us and react appropriately. It's a very fast mechanism of communication. Right? The messages are passed along neurons from our sensory to our inter, to our brain, to our inter, to our motor neurons, which allow us to move. We have two divisions of our nervous system in general. The central nervous system is our brain stem, and our spine. Right? And the peripheral nervous system is all the other nerves in our body. Okay? That's it. Bye.